They're standing in front of our microphones now. I think Lee is the closest, so I'll ask Lee. Lee, I had hoped by this time out of the mailbag, our NYC mailbag, or perhaps out of requests sent directly to you, you'd found a name. Have you?
Well, sir, we have. I'm very happy to tell you that out of somewhere, we don't know where, but out of somewhere we did get a name.
Gee, I wish we had somebody at the piano who could play a fanfare on this, but I'll tell you what, we'll give you a chord on that. Ready?
That's highly appropriate for this type of group. Our name, Oscar, is from now on the Weavers.
The Weavers. Well, that's a fine name. Did you have a special reason for choosing it? What does it mean?
What does it mean? It should mean something. You go to buy soap, you buy Dreft. Does Dreft mean anything? It's just one of those ridiculous brand names, Oscar.
I see. You've applied the brand name of Weavers to the quartet which you represent.
That's it, exactly.
Well, tell me, you must have had a reason. You can't get away with that.
The Weavers are looming over the horizon, about to...
Okay, all right, I understand.
Weave themselves into the warp and woof of American culture. I'm the woof, and... well, you know...
I know, there's a couple of warps around. Okay, Lee, would you
now
repeat?
Our first song is going to be a little Suki jump tune called Poor Howard.
Poor Howard, the quartet of the Weavers.
Poor Howard's dead and gone, left me here to sing this song. Poor Howard's dead and gone, left me here to sing this song. Poor Howard's dead and he's gone. Poor Howard's dead and he's gone. Poor Howard's dead and he's gone. Left me here to sing this song. Who's been here since I've been gone? Pretty little gal with the red dress on. Who's been here since I've been gone? Pretty little gal with the red dress on. Pretty little gal with the red dress on. Pretty little gal with the red dress on. Oh, pretty little gal with the red dress on. Let me hear to sing this song. Play that banjo. Who's been here since I've been gone? Great big man with a derby on. Who's been here since I've been gone? Great big man with a derby on. Great big man with a derby on. Great big man with a derby on. Oh, great big man with a derby on. Let me hear to sing this song. Great big man with a derby on.
Oscar Brand with a Stetson on. Oscar Brand with a Stetson on.
And let me hear to sing this song.
That's our previously unnamed quartet, right now called the Weavers, consisting of Pete Seeger, that was the banjo, Fred Hellerman at the guitar, Ronnie Gilbert and Lee Hayes with the separated voices. Tell me, Lee, did you have any special reason for choosing the second song, which I hope you're going to sing for us now?
The hymn we're going to sing a hymn here called "Dig My Grave," and there's no reason for singing, for picking it.
Except that today's Sunday.
Yeah, it's today's Sunday. Yeah.
Hymn day.
Yeah.
Can you tell us something about the song itself?
Pete, you tell them about this.
Well, I can say that it's a very unusual hymn. It was collected by Alan Lomax from a group of people singing down on
when Alan Lomax collects a song, it stays collected.
down in the Bahama Islands.
We don't sing anything but hymns and sinful songs anyway, Steve. So
Mostly the sinful ones.
Go and dig my grave.
do to my head, do carry me, Lord, when I die. Well, my soul's gonna shine like a star. Well, my soul's gonna shine like a star. My soul's gonna shine like a star. Lord, I'm bound to heaven when I die. Now my soul's gonna shine like a star. Well, my soul's gonna shine like a star. My soul's gonna shine like a star. Lord, I'm bound to heaven when I die.
Those were our Weavers. Weavers, I'll mention the names of the Weavers, and then we'll let it go at the fact that they're a quartet. There's Pete Seeger, Fred Hellerman, Ronnie Gilbert, and Lee Hayes. Now, Lee's made his way to a piano, a very quaint old folk instrument. I'm going to ask him why he wants to use the piano on this first song. What about it, Lee?
Well, because it's a love song, and I love to play piano. You don't get a chance to do it. It's a kind of a love song, and it's called the Love Song Blues. Now, let's see if we can let her rip, boys. Can't sing but one love song, but I can sing it all day long.
All night too.
Can't sing but one love song, but I can sing it all day long.
All night too.
And when I'm all through singing, I'll have to be moving along. Sing it in the morning, sing it in the night. Sing it all the time because it makes me feel right.
Can't sing but one love song, but I can sing it all day long. All night too.
And when I'm all through singing, I'll have to be moving along. Now get this.
Sing about the weather, cold or hot. Sing about the man that I ain't got. I'll sing about you if you'll sing about me. Oh, I need you and you need me. And if we ain't good friends, we're going to be.
Can't sing but one love song, but I can sing it all day long. Well, now there are 2 billion people on this old earth.
If you count both the women and the men.
That's a fact.
And there ain't no shortage of friends, Lee.
If you're looking for friends, too many people are walking alone. Too many people just are looking for a home. Too many people are walking around.
Whose only home is the burying ground.
Well, it's a world of toil and heavy labor, and love is the only real emancipator. As you love yourself, love your neighbor, and
Sing that love song, sing it all night long, till the day you die.
you gotta sing your love song. Sing it all your life long.
Till the day you die. For when we're all through singing, we'll all have to be moving along.
That was our guest for the evening, the Weavers Quartet. Pete Seeger, Fred Hellerman, Ronnie Gilbert, and Lee Hayes at the mighty piano. I do believe that song was written by Lee. Am I right, Lee?
That's a fact.
If you fellas will stay around a little while, maybe I could force you to join us in singing another song before long. When I announced our guests for this evening, I called them the Weavers. But they're 4 performers, each one of whom merits guestship on our festival, even if not much more. Let me introduce Lee Hayes.
Howdy.
Pete Seeger.
Hello.
Freddie Hellerman.
Hi.
And Ronnie Gilbert.
How do you do?
Would you tell us something about the songs you'd like to sing on tonight's mournful program?
Oscar, the first song is supposed to be a sorrowful song because it's a blues, but we think that we like it not because it's sad so much as because, like the best blues we know, it's mad. Let her rip. Oh, well, I got a gal, she lives on Washington Square. If you want to die easy, you just let me catch you there. There'll be a slow marching and a lonesome singing and a funeral preaching and a clod pitching and a not much dodging. That's the way that all the old folks say. Tomorrow's gonna be your burying day, because the undertaker's coming. He's going to take you away if you don't watch out. If you don't quit hanging around my pretty little woman's front porch, I'll give you a one-way ride in that long black coach. There'll be a slow marching and a lonesome singing and a funeral preaching and a clod pitching and a not much dodging. That's the way that all the old folks say. Tomorrow's gonna be your burying day, because the undertaker's coming. He's going to take you away if you don't watch out. Now play it. You can even steal my wife. When you go to grinning at me with my own teeth, it's then I'm gonna have your life. There'll be a slow marching and a lonesome singing and a funeral preaching and a clod pitching and a not much dodging. That's the way that all the old folks say. Tomorrow's gonna be your burying day, because the undertaker's coming. He's going to take you away if you don't watch out, and I mean leave me alone.
Hey. And that was Lee Hayes leading the Weavers in Slow Marchin' or the Washington Square Blues. Lee, speaking about Washington Square, or the Weavers in particular, I hear you're doing a series Sunday afternoons now.
Every Sunday afternoon, Oscar, we sing ourselves hoarse at the Photo League down on 23 East 10th Street from 2 to 5. We just came from there, and we had 50, 60, 75, 700 people sitting around singing with us. And everybody, of course, is welcome to come and sing with us every Sunday afternoon.
Well, I'll make mention of it again when I start rounding up some of the square dance or coming events of the week. How about another song for our sorrowful program?
Well, another blues, Oscar. We thought we'd sing you a song. It's been mainly known by hillbilly fans up till now, but it's too good a song to be just restricted to that category. It's called the Freight Train Blues, and here's how she goes. I was born in Dixie in a boomer's shack, just a little shanty by the railroad track. The humming of the drivers was my lullaby, and the freight train whistle taught me how to cry.
I got the freight train blues. Lordy, 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 got 'em in the bottom of my rambling shoes. And when the whistle blows, you gotta go. Oh, Lordy, yes, I'm never gonna lose the freight train blues.
Now, my daddy was a fireman and my mama dear, she was the only daughter of an engineer. My sweetie, she's a brakeman, and that ain't no joke, 'cause it's a dirty shame the way she keeps me broke.
I got the freight train blues. Lordy, 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 I got 'em in the bottom of my rambling shoes. And when the whistle blows, you gotta go. Oh, Lordy, yes,
I'm never gonna lose the freight train blues. Now I guess I'm old enough to quit this running around, and many's the time I've tried to try and settle down. Every time I find a place I'd like to stay, I hear a freight train whistle and I'm on my way. I got the freight train blues. Lordy, 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 I got 'em in the bottom of my rambling shoes. And when the whistle blows, you gotta go. Oh, lordy, yes, I'm never gonna lose the freight train blues. You know, a long time ago, a quartet of very fine folk musicians and singers came to our microphones at WNYC, and they asked the audience here at the festival to give them a name. Well, we read over a few hundred suggestions, and then Lee Hayes, Peter Seeger, Freddie Hellerman, and Ronnie Gilbert decided on a name. It was called, and they called themselves, the Weavers. And that's the name which has lately been headlined over rave reviews since they've been appearing at the Village Vanguard. So here they are, our first guests of the evening, the Weavers. Pete Seeger, do you want to tell us about the songs you'd like to sing for tonight?
Well, thanks very much, Oscar. We're going to start off with a courting song, Ronnie taking the lead. This is the kind of a song, you know, that young folks might sit around the back porch singing, kind of making fun of the whole business of courting.
Know how to court a maid, turn their backs and hide their faces. Sight of a pretty girl makes them afraid.
Well, the sight of a pretty girl makes them afraid. Sight of a pretty girl makes them afraid. Sight of a pretty girl makes them afraid. Sight of a pretty girl makes them afraid.
Johnson boys, they went a courting the Coon Creek girl so pretty and sweet. They couldn't make no conversation, they didn't know where to put their feet.
Well, they didn't know where to put their feet. They didn't know where to put their feet. They didn't know where to put their feet. They didn't know where to put their feet.
Took two dogs and went astray, tore their clothes and scratched their faces. They didn't come home till the break of day.
Well, they didn't come home till the break of day. They didn't come home till the break of day. They didn't come home till the break of day. They didn't come home till the break of day.
Johnson boys will never get married. They'll live single all their life. They're too scared to pop the question. There ain't no woman that'll be their wife.
Well, there ain't no woman that'll be their wife. 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 Shame, shame on the Johnson boys.
And that was the Johnson Boys. The Johnson Boys sung by the Weavers. Lee, do you want to tell us something about why you four started getting together to sing all these songs?
Well, as we told you about a year ago, as I remember it, Oscar, we just like to sing together better than we like to sing alone. So we've been singing together. Occurred to us, you know, that we'd like to meet some of your audience and listeners to this program. Maybe a good thing to do would be if anybody that heard us would like to come down and join us at the Vanguard tonight around 10:30 or any time from 10:30 on. We could sing some requests. Just say that you heard us on this program, and we'll see to it that you get a table without the customary minimum.
That's the Village Vanguard, huh?
Yeah, so we'll sing a song, one of the blues that we've been having fun with down there. The blues I wrote kind of autobiographical, mostly just for the pleasure of hearing Pete and Fred play this.
All too autobiographical.
Well, I went down to the bank. What do you think I see? All that money laying around, but they didn't have none for me. You know, I feel so bad, feel bad all the time. I love that money, but I ain't got a lousy dime. Well, I went down to the grocery store. What do you think I see?
What?
All them cans sitting on a shelf, but they didn't have a can for me. You know, I feel so bad, feel bad all the time. I love that money, but I ain't got a lousy dime. Play. Well, I went down to the pet store. What do you think I see? All them people buying cats and dogs, but they didn't have a little puppy dog for me. I feel so bad all the time. I love that money, but I ain't got a lousy dime. Now listen, I went down to the doctor's office. What do you think I see? All them rich people down there having their stomachs pumped, but they couldn't pump a thing out of me, and I feel so bad all the time. I love that money, but I ain't got a lousy dime. Play once. Well, I went down to the clothing store. What do you think I see? All them suits hanging on the line, but they didn't have a size 48 for me. I feel so bad all the time because I love that money, but I ain't got a lousy dime. Once more. When I walk in the graveyard, what do you think I see? All them dead people laying around, but they didn't have a grave for me, and I feel so bad all the time. I love that money, but I can't seem to get my hands on a lousy single dime.
This very minute, we're here again from the Weavers as they help me out with a lovely song entitled The Fireship. As I walked out one evening upon a night's career, I met a pretty fire ship and to her I did steer. I hoisted up my signal, which she could quickly view, and when I had my bunting up, she immediately hove to. She had a dark and roving eye, and her hair hung down in ringlets. A nice girl, a decent girl, but one of the rakish kind.
Excuse me, sir, she said to me, for being out so late. For if my parents knew of it, then sad would be my fate. My father is a minister, a good and righteous man. Me mother is a Methodist. I do the best I can.
She had a dark and a roving eye, and her hair hung down in ringlets. A nice girl, a decent girl, but one of the rakish kind.
Be with us again next Sunday at 6 for another folk song festival with your shoeless troubadour, Oscar Brand. This program was directed by Gunther Lawrence, assisted by Rosalind Durenfeld and Pat Larget. This is the Municipal Broadcasting System.
We welcome to the show the Weavers. The Weavers.
Hello, buddy.
Hello, buddy. Hi. Let's see. Now, the beautiful part of the Weavers is...
Ronnie Gilbert.
Hi,
thank you.
Ronnie.
And I'm Freddie Hellerman.
Hi,
And
Betty.
I'm Lee Hayes, buddy.
Yes,
And
Lee.
I'm Pete Seeger.
Well, how are you all, the Weavers? Do I talk to all four of you at once, or do I have an official spokesman here?
Well, I'll tell you.
Mr. Lee
Hayes
Hayes
over
there.
there.
He
Yes,
is
they always do that to me, and that's unfair because all three of the other Weavers put together have more sense than I have. But they usually make me do the talking.
Well, Lee, may I then ask you a few questions right now, please?
You bet.
Good. Lee, how long have you been working as a group?
Well, I've been working as a group all my life. But
How much do you weigh now, Lee?
Oh, 250, 60. But the Weavers have been together for a year and a half or so, singing for fun, and then the lightning hit, and now we're making an honest living.
You certainly are. You've just been together a year and a half, Lee?
Just about a year and a half.
Did you meet in the East or in the Ozarks or where?
Well, we came from all two corners and met in the village, in Greenwich Village, that is, and we started singing for fun down there until we got a job last Christmas, and we've been working pretty hard ever since.
Indeed.
much too hard.
Yeah.
I understand that maybe you're having a few days off right now. Is that true?
Yes, we're on a 1 week's vacation, making the most of it. All we do is have to rehearse 3 or 4 hours every day.
Where did you get the name of the Weavers?
That's
Wow,
long
I
story.
shouldn't have asked that, I think.
a tough one.
I'll tell you, I'll give you a few seconds to think this over, because I know you have the right answer. We'll be back to you in just a few moments. Well, a few moments ago, when I asked the question of where the name Weavers came, I Yes, I was almost told off. But, Lee, would you tell us, really? We'd all be very anxious to know.
Well, I think the time has come finally, buddy, when we should tell you the truth.
I'd like to hear the truth. Yes, I would.
The truth is that it doesn't mean much of anything. We decided we needed a name, and we hashed it around and debated it, and we came up with about 1,400 different names, and we tried picking them out of a hat. That didn't work because we always picked the ones we didn't want. And finally we said, well, we'll get a name that doesn't mean much of anything, except maybe it'll come to mean something in time. If we work hard enough, and if enough people like our music and sing our songs with us, maybe in time people will come to think, well, the Weavers, they'll like it enough maybe to make up their own meaning.
Well, your wish has certainly come true.
So people, if people want to know what the Weavers mean, why, just whatever it means to them, that's what it means to us.
Well, now, I'd like to get back to these 4 units that compose the Weavers. Now, let's see. Individually, they are Lee Hayes. And where did you come from originally, Lee?
Buddy, I started out in Arkansas, where, as a kid, I used to always run away from home and go down to the river bottoms and sit around in the little churches there on Sunday and Saturday nights and hear the people singing together. I liked it so much that I thought that was the best kind of music I'd ever heard in my life, people singing together. So finally, I've had the great good fortune to meet 3 other people who feel the same way and who make good music. I like it, and lots of other people do.
They sure do.
Great satisfaction in singing with other people.
Well, now, Pete Seeger, where are you from?
Well, I was actually born here in New York, but raised in New England. And after a long time spent in going to school there, I finally was released and spent the next 10 years learning about this country. I've been traveling around, and I just kept on traveling, and everywhere I went I learned more about it and learned some songs, too. And suddenly I found that people wanted to hear these songs, so here I am.
I'm glad you're here. Now, let's see. There's Fred Hellerman, the Weaver with the guitar.
Oh, well. Well, I was born in New York, but I didn't go to school in New England. I stayed right here in New York. And, well, I suppose I learned a lot of these songs during the war aboard ship. Maybe not learned them, but at least used to hear an awful lot of good singing from guys from Texas and California and Montana and Arkansas. And, well, after the war is when I ran across Lee and Pete. Ronnie I knew from before the war. And just a lot of fun, that's all.
That certainly has been. And now we come to the lovely lass, Ronnie Gilbert. Ronnie, tell us about yourself.
Fred and I, being the just naturally lazy type, we stayed here in New York and let all the people come and teach us what they'd learned. As a matter of fact, one of the earliest things I ever did in music was sing right here on WOR on Big Brother Bob Emery's Rainbow Hat.
I didn't know that, Ronnie.
Now it comes out.
Well, now that we have you, the 4 of you, pretty well put in our minds, we know you together, but now we know you individually. And I'm going to say that in just a moment, I'd like to ask you how you joined together and turned a hobby into a profession. I'm back with the Weavers once again, ladies and gentlemen. And I wanted to ask the Weavers about how many songs, Lee, do you have in your repertoire?
That's very hard to answer, buddy, because if we need a song and we haven't got it, all we have to do is go get it. And
where do you go to get it? That's what I want to know.
Well, we get them from friends and out of books and libraries and wherever they happen to be lying around. Actually, if you put any 4 singers together, you'd find that they collectively have an immense amount of songs. For example, my repertoire consists of at least a dozen songs, and Fred knows 100 or 150, and Ronnie knows dozens of them, and Pete knows about 700 that he could sing at a drop of a hat. It all works out to literally hundreds of songs that we know.
Could I ask Pete about those African chants or the Indonesian lullabies?
Well, it's a fact, buddy, that here in New York, you meet people from all over the world. And whereas maybe you wouldn't find these songs so readily up on Tin Pan Alley, nevertheless, there are people from every land right here in Manhattan. And many of the songs in foreign languages that we've learnt from people from these different countries who are here in New York. And some of them we've learned off of phonograph records that have been sent from far away, and as Lee told you, some out of books.
Well, if I remember right, and I'm sure I do, your first professional job was the Village Vanguard. And I know that's where such prominent folk singers as Richard Dyer Bennett and Burl Ives, where they got their start. I wonder if you all would say that Vanguard is sort of the cradle of folk song today. Freddie?
Well, I don't know as we'd call it exactly the cradle. I suppose you'd say that the cradle are the ships and the farms and the prisons and the factories and all the homes. But it is true that the Vanguard has been one of the few places that consistently through the years has been willing to listen to folk singers, as few places were. And it's something we appreciate.
And it's something that we certainly appreciate, too. Well, now, let's see. I think the lady should have the last word. Ronnie, I'm going to ask this one of you, if I may. I want to know, I know you're going to be terribly busy, but I want to know where your engagements are going to take you.
Well, we've got a couple of engagements out of town, around Pennsylvania and so, and then we're going to do a concert.
Concert tour, aren't you?
Uh-huh, and we're going to do a great big tour all the way out west and back down and across
All the way to
down
California
and
and
back
back?
to the east
That's
again.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. What about your deck of recordings in the meantime?
Oh, we've just released a record, or rather Decca has, The Roving Kind on one side and The Wreck of the John B. on the other.
Mm-hmm. That'll be out very soon, won't it?
It's out now.
Oh, it's out right
yes,
now?
It was
oh,
released.
good, wonderful. Well, we'll be playing that very soon. Well, I can't tell you what a kick I got out of sitting across the microphone from the four of you. I wish I could sing Goodnight Irene with you all sometime. That's my daughter's favorite song.
Is that right?
Yeah, she knows all the words to all of the tunes you've ever made.
My gosh. Well, tell her for us that we're very proud of that.
Well, I certainly would. You know, she listens to your record, and then she writes them down. She's only 8 years of age, but she'll hear a record, she'll play it over 2 or 3 times, and I wish I could memorize as well as that little 8-year-old daughter of mine.
Wish we could.
Well, thank you so much, the Weavers, for being with us today, and we'll be looking for all of your records, and we hope to have you back with us again in the very near future.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you very much, buddy.